Right, sorry about that. I was just setting another camera up just to do a little recording. So we've got it all wiped down now with the alcohol cleaner. Obviously I've got some paint, wherever we are there. I've pre-mixed for this and just scanned it and pre-made it. So we've got this little bit of a repair here that we're going to do, and I'm not sure whether you can sort of see it. You can just about see it on the camera. You can see here where it's lighter, but then it goes darker again here, and it goes darker again just here. That's where we've done the prep work in this area with the Scotch pad. And we're going to try to obviously go up to the other areas with it. So first of all, we would just wipe the colour in like so. Yep, wipe the colour in. Just to get it a bit of a base on there. Almost like a bit of a primer. Just wipe the colour in like so, give it a bit of a primer. Then we're going to dry it with the hairdryer. Second. Not much of a drying over, that's quite quick to dry, it's only thin paint anyway that's gone on there. Then you're going to stipple the colour on, and I always try to get my paint, if I can show you this, get it right there, try to get your paint, I always try to get my paint right in the corner of the sponge. A lot of people put it here in the centre. What you do with that when you're doing that, if you can imagine putting this on like so, you've got all four corners of the sponge now touching the paint that you're doing. If you put it in this leading corner and you keep the back of the sponge up, you're always keeping control of what you're sponging on, so you're not affecting what you've put on and retaking it off. And you can just literally go around and stipple the paint on like so and just build the colour up. So we always try to keep it just in that one corner, and then you're not affecting what you're doing, if you can understand what I mean by that. Yeah. Cool. And then that way you can just keep building the colour up slowly but surely, and then that will just blend in nicely, and it'll be a really nice, good, sort of perfect match. So you can dry that again. So obviously we've got that coloured over, we're going to give it one more little coat. You don't need an awful lot to go on, and I'm just going to really concentrate in this area here, which is where most of the colour was off originally. And just very, very lightly feather that out on either end, and then when we lacquer over you won't see any differences. That's dry again quite quickly. We'll get some satin lacquer. And then obviously with the satin lacquer again, I wouldn't try to wipe that on at this stage, just you would always sponge it on. And just literally go over the whole panel. So then going over the whole panel, if you're doing like a tiny little repair in the middle of a bolster, at least going over the full panel, you're locking all the colour in. Same as doing a car, you know, you're going to do like a little repair on a bumper. You know, it's better to do a much bigger area with the lacquer than just trying to do the tiny little chip. Yeah. So always lacquer over the whole thing. So then you stand much less likelihood of the coating coming off once you put that on there. So it's much less likely that it's going to not come off. Once we can get over it, it'll be so much better doing all this in person, because I can see you doing it, and it'll be so much better when we're doing this in person. gone over and done that, there was obviously no damage to it other than there was a bit of colour loss there. So it is literally as simple and as easy as that to do that little bit of a repair. So what other sort of types of bits did you want to look at? Did you want to look at something else? It's difficult to show you scratches on here really. Trying to think what we can do. I'm just trying to get the camera right. Let me have a look, do it that way. Do it that way round. There. Like so. So if we do a little bit of a scuff in the middle of that, let's have a look.
Yeah.
So if we've got like a bit of a scuff, I'll see if I can show you on the camera in a moment, if I can get it to get up there. You can see that there how it's scratched, yeah?
Yep.
Yep, on the surface, you can see the no scratches there. So what we're going to do with that, we're going to get sandpaper. So we'll get some 320 wet and dry paper. You can either use the sponge pads, these sort of things with the sponge on the back of them. Yep, they're quite handy. Or just use 320 paper. And what we're going to do, we're just going to very, very lightly sand it. We're not going to put a lot of pressure on there. Just very, very, very lightly sand that away. Just to take the roughness away on the leather surface. Just very, very lightly sand it. And if I bring that up to the camera, you'll be able to see automatically. Get it right.
Yeah.
Can you see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So you can see that's all gone now. The actual roughness of the surface is actually all gone, and I've got to do opposite directions to what I'm moving there. So it's all gone now, the roughness. It's just sort of left it a little bit smoother on the surface there, so you can see it's all gone, the actual roughness that we had there originally. So now we would obviously get the leather prep and wipe over the seat. So you're going to wipe the whole area down, and you can see it's gone just slightly darker on that patch. If I can get it right, just slightly darker on that patch, look. Somewhere there. Just very, very slightly darker where the colours come off. So wipe over the panel with the leather prep. Wipe the panel down with the leather prep. Obviously, if you're in a customer's car, you'd mask up all these areas here so you don't affect these areas or this area here. Yeah?
Yeah.
So just wipe it down. Bit of alcohol cleaner over the top again, just to fully degrease it all. Wipe it over with alcohol cleaner. Like so. And then we can get a little bit of colour on there. So just get a little bit of colour on there and just slightly feather the colour up with the sponge. You can do it with a sponge or do it with the airbrush, it's entirely up to you. But I mean, all our products are designed, the professional products are designed to work with a sponge, and so are the DIY, but obviously the professional products are far superior than the DIY stuff. So give it a dry. So that's dried, and hopefully, if I can bring that forward, like so, as you can see, there's a very, very, very small mark. I've got to try to hold this with one hand, hang on, and get it right. We're here. Just there is where the actual damage was. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know whether you can see that. Hang on a minute, let me move forward there. That's where the actual damage was, literally right there. It's literally virtually disappeared now, look. It's there. So there's just a tiny, tiny, tiny blemish that's left there, which looks like a bit of a grain impression. So what you can do now, if you wanted, back again with the 320 wet and dry paper, and before we lacquer, just very, very lightly sand that area again. Very, very lightly. I'll take a picture, I'll just get my phone and I'll take a picture so I can show you on, after we finished, on Facebook, I'll send you a picture of the tiniest small damage that's there, so you can actually see the damage.